Hello, my name is Joshua Haney and I am a saxophonist and educator. Today I am up at the Frederick L. Hemke Saxophone Institute in Sydney, Maine, and I'm excited to give some impressions and thoughts on the new Vandoren Profile series of mouthpieces. Today I actually have the Vandoren AP3. It is the alto version of the new Profile mouthpiece, and I just wanted to give my thoughts and impressions and show you a bit of how it plays. So the packaging itself is the standard Vandoren affair, and the box has a new art style, which is actually really nice and I think a very interesting new direction. The AP3 is very comparable to a Selmer C-Star or S90-190 mouthpiece. The tip opening is 1.58 millimeters, which is approximately 0.062 inches. So it's a very standard tip opening, not too open, not too closed. The comments that Vandoren provides are that it is an instinctive extension of the air column with a natural fluidity between all registers and an infinite palette of colors. Once again, the tip opening is 1.58 millimeters, and they describe the facing length as medium long. So this is the mouthpiece itself. It is a very interesting shape. As you can see, the shank has a very different shape to what we are used to seeing on a Vandoren mouthpiece, and I think it provides an interesting visual flair. Now you'll see mine has blue tape on it. That's standard practice when you're trialing a mouthpiece out so that you don't scratch it. And I also have a standard Vandoren bite patch. Now when looking inside the mouthpiece, it is a standard round chamber, as is characteristic for all Vandoren mouthpieces, but when you look inside and pay a little more attention to the details, it seems that the floor of the mouthpiece flows very smoothly into the chamber, so there's less of a squeeze and it more just flows in naturally, and that might be kind of a source of less resistance in the mouthpiece. When looking at it, the profile of the mouthpiece, much like the clarinet profile mouthpieces, these offer a different beak shape so that you have a different mouthfeel. I feel that this is very comparable to the Selmer concept kind of shape, where it's a little more duck-billed, a little more narrow in the mouth, and it's a like it or don't like it kind of thing. It's all personal preference. I personally prefer this a little bit because the Vandoren mouthpieces normally are a little chunky for my taste, especially the Optimums. But this one feels very nice in the mouth, and it is a handsome mouthpiece on the exterior. When it comes to playing this mouthpiece, I find that it plays very easily and it blows no problem. Compared to the AL3, it has a little less resistance and a bit more color. I find it's a little more bright as well, and it feels a little more open, even if the tip opening measurement isn't quite as open on paper. In terms of the tone color, I find it to be somewhere between the Optimum lineup, which is rather smooth and dark, and the A28 or V5 series, which tend to be a little more colorful and lively. This is a nice middle point. Found the intonation was nothing special in terms of it doesn't fix anything normal, but it also doesn't create new problems. It's very standard intonation tendencies on this mouthpiece, and I had no issues getting the usual problematic notes in tune. I normally play an S90-190 from Selmer Paris, and I found that while the Vandoren offers a very different sound and feel, it is probably one of my favorite of the Vandoren mouthpieces. The AP3 is very good, and if I had to play a Vandoren mouthpiece, this would probably be it. So before we move on to the playtesting, I wanted to give you some insight into my methodology so that you'd understand how I'm approaching playing this mouthpiece for you. So obviously we have the AP3 mouthpiece, and you'll get some examples with that, but I will also have my normal mouthpiece, the Selmer S90-190. So the reed I'll be playing on these mouthpieces is the D'Addario 3 Plus Strength Reserve reeds. This is a brand new reed, totally unbroken in, and you get an idea how it sounds with a fresh reed and without a reed that's adapted to a mouthpiece. The ligature I use is an Ishimori standard gold plate ligature, and it fits great on both. The horn that I play on is a Selmer Series 3. I think this is a great test horn because it kind of gets out of the way. It doesn't have an inherent character that really gets in the way of the mouthpiece. So without further ado, I'm going to play some examples for you, and just let me know what you think in the comments. Alright, so what are my thoughts on this mouthpiece? Overall, I think that this is my favorite offering from Vandoren so far. While I am a con Selmer artist and I generally prefer square chambered mouthpiece from Selmer Paris, this is a very nice alternative on the Vandoren side of things. This will offer interesting competition to the Selmer concept line of pieces, and this mouthpiece in general is going to be a very easy recommendation from teachers to students that are looking for their first really good mouthpiece. Compared to other Vandoren products, I find that this is a little bit easier to play and doesn't sacrifice projection and color like the Vandoren optimum line of mouthpieces have been kind of known to do. Now, a lot of people sound great on those mouthpieces, but I personally had that issue, and that's what made me switch to Selmer. If this profile mouthpiece had been around at the time, I probably would have been much more interested in this. This is a wonderful addition to the classical saxophone market. We have so many more choices now than even just a few years ago, and I'm really thrilled that Vandoren is continuing to offer new products to compete with Selmer and other makes, because when we have more choices, ultimately the product gets better for all of us. So again, let me know what your thoughts are below. If you had any preference as far as you preferred the Selmer, you preferred the Vandoren, or anything at all, just let me know. Leave a comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stuff. Thanks, bye.